Using a background pattern in our designs is one of the elements that can increase visual richness. In this video, I will explain how to quickly make patterns in Adobe Illustrator and how we can create differences on this pattern with the options that appear during pattern making. I've added an icon like this to the scene. Of course, it's not a good way to duplicate it one by one, so that we can make a pattern in the background. We can do it this way. But of course, this wouldn't be a preferred method, because there is a more practical method. The panel we will use while doing this work is the pattern panel, that is, pattern options. We can access this option from under Window. Click on Window, and here you will see pattern options. We can open this panel by clicking on it. Now, let's create our first pattern. Let's select the icon we want to create the pattern for. Here, we have a fish icon in the scene right now. After selecting the fish icon and in the pattern panel, I click on the menu icon on the right side. I select the Make Pattern option. When I select this, it also adds a swatch panel to the scene. We can see the icon I selected here. Let's click on the OK button. When we expand the swatch panel, you will see that our icon is here. It also creates our supported based on this icon. I can close the swatch panel now. First of all, I specify the pattern name here. Let's call it fish because it's a fish. And then let's look at the other options and see what we can do. Of course, you can learn all the options here by trying them yourself. I will try to show you roughly what these options are. The first option is grid, which is a pattern system with a grid system. This option is selected by default. So if you want to create a uniform pattern like this, we need to select the grid option here. Let's look at the other options. We can already understand more easily what it will do by looking at the icons on the left side. This way, it made a pattern with rows. You can also make these changes between these pattern options by changing the grid offset values. Let's leave it as standard. This is how it created a pattern as a row. In the same way, it will create a pattern as a column by clicking grid by column. When I select hex by column, it will look like this, and when I choose hex by row, it will look like this. Let's go through the most used options again. The next option is width and height values. By changing these values, see, I am changing them. This way you can edit the distances between them. If you want to see such a pattern in total, if you want to have open spaces between objects, you can create your own pattern by changing the width and height values. We can get similar results by selecting Size Style to Art and changing the spacing values below. As you can see, there are now 5 icons in a row, both vertically and horizontally. You can increase or decrease these copies. For example, if you want to display it as 3 by 3, it will look like this, and you can only see it like this by changing the values here. When I make it 9 by 9, you will preview more patterns. Let's bring it back to its original values. See, this way, after making the settings here, we save our pattern by double-clicking on any point on the screen or by clicking the Done button at the top. Now we will need the swatch panel that was just opened when we were making the Make Pattern. Look, here is my swatch panel, and in this panel, we can see the fish icon here. We can see it as we named it. I don't need this image right now. I can delete this image. Then, let's select the fish pattern we prepared in the swatch panel. And then, draw a rectangle on the scene. I'm going to draw a rectangle on the scene like this. Look, when I draw the rectangle, you will see that the pattern we have prepared is applied here. However, I would have preferred to have gaps between the fishes while creating this pattern, so that it wouldn't be a crowded image, but a more spacious image. To make changes to the pattern we prepared in this logic, I double-click on the fish icon under the swatch panel, the fish pattern. As soon as I double-clicked, the editing window appeared with editing options. This is how I can give the spaces I want to give. And then we can click on the Done button again to make changes appear instantly in the workspace. Then we can use it wherever we want to use it. And then let's save this image as a PNG. Press the Ctrl, Shift, Alt and S key combinations at the same time. The Save for Web page will open. On this page, select PNG24 from the options at the top right. Thus, we will be able to use the transparent feature. Let's save the file by clicking the Save button. Now I switched to Photoshop. And in Photoshop, when I drag this file from my computer to here, you will also see the image comes here. Since we saved it as a transparent PNG, when I disappear the background, you can easily see that the images are empty between them, and therefore we can assign another color to the background. For example, I change the background to black color like this. We can make the color of the fish white. We can make it yellow. Let's set it to be yellow. By decreasing the opacity value, as you can see, we have created a background pattern. You can use this pattern from now on depending on what you want to do. In this video, we have seen how we can create patterns with a simple technique in Illustrator. How we can make repeating icons, one after another on the background of our designs. I hope it was useful. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.